Alrighty, so what I have today is a package I've been waiting for since early March. Now I'm finally opening it, and you guys have probably read the description of what it is, but it's actually my new Samsung S20 Ultra 5G. The reason why I've been waiting for it for so long is because it's the 512, well, basically the half gig edition of said. So this is for myself, and here it is. Out of this big box comes this little tiny black slender box. So it's the S20 Ultra 5G. Now just looking at the specs, let's see. So specs wise, this is pretty specced out. I'm not going to read it because there's lots of videos on the huge gargantuan specs that it comes with, but the good thing is that you can expect that it's got a lot of RAM, basically a huge battery, obviously to power the huge phone, and obviously a huge screen and a very insane high megapixel camera. Now, I can't tell you exactly what that means yet because I haven't started using the phone, but in the real world. But I guess here it is, out of the box. Not just the box. Let's pop it out carefully because I don't have a drop cover yet, but that's it there. So nice space black. Now it would be good to compare it with my current phone, which is an S9 Edge, and you can see that with the cover on, it's roughly the same size. But if I take out the cover, which I'll do now, I've also got those MagSafe style connectors. For those wondering, this phone is going to go to my lovely wife. So comparing it, sorry, my arm's a bit bumped, you can kind of see that it's slightly bigger than the old S9 Edge that I have. So pocket ones, I'm wearing some shorts. Stick it in, doesn't stick it out as much because, like I said, I'm kind of used to that heft that this phone would have. Obviously what I'm going to do for this, I've already dated it, is that I'm going to get a drop cover similar to what I've got here. So I'll go do that and go to JB Hi-Fi today. And I guess we'll just set it up. Oh, here we go. We'll do a little bit of unboxing. So it comes with some covers. It comes with a fast charger USB cable, which I do need. The difference between this USB cable is that it uses a USB-C connector. Did I say cable? USB charger. Some other stuff. Here we go. Here's the USB-C cable for said charger, which I'll probably not use, but that comes in handy. So I'll just do it right there. Probably put this in a safe spot. What else? Oh, here we go. AKG headphones, which plug straight into the USB-C port, so it doesn't have a 3.5 inch, sorry, it's 3.5 mil adapter. And these will probably go back in here because I tend to never use them. And that's pretty much it. So there's a lot of presentation cardboard that comes with this thing. What else do you get? You know what would be really handy is if it came with a fast charging stand. I thought it would have come with, but we're not so lucky. Okay, need to get the, since I put, oh, this is useless. Need to get the paper clip. Ah, here we go. Alright. So put these back in here. Doesn't want to go back in the box. Some more wood. There we go. Okay, so there's a hidden panel here, which is basically empty now. Which is basically what I was looking for. So you've got more stuff in there. It's just, oh, look at that. Comes with a case. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you probably saw the YouTube title for this, and I kind of stuffed up. I did record like a good maybe half an hour worth of footage just now, but unfortunately idiot me forgot to press the record button, so there wasn't actually any recording. But the cool thing is that I've got this. It's my new Samsung S20 Ultra 5G, whiz bang, everything. The cool thing about this thing is that, well, basically it replaces my old S9, which at the moment you can kind of see there. They're very similar in size, with just probably, let's say, 1/4 of an inch difference between the top and bottom. But difference in screens or whatnot is that the Ultra is basically an edge to edge screen, whereas with the old S9, which I currently have, there's still a gap at the top and bottom. So, what's cool about this thing? Basically telling everyone again is that what's cool about this is that it's got a heap of memory, more than what any other smartphone on the market has, which is, for tech guys, it's around about 16 gig. It's got a huge battery. Which I think is on par with a lot of phablet style phones. Well, basically this is nearly a phablet size, so it's a 6.9 inch screen which can do WQHD plus according to Samsung. Also you can downgrade that, well you can run the screen on a full HD plus, which isn't exactly 1080p, but there's a bit more resolution on one end because it uses 2080 I think it was, but it's like basically Samsung calls it as full HD plus. What else does it have? So we've gone through the memory, we've gone through the battery life, we've gone through the big screen, but I think the big selling point in order to compete with Apple is the fact that it needs this, more cameras than you can poke a stick at, with also the thing that it says there, space zoom 100x. What does that mean? Just basically means that you can digitally zoom into something to your heart's content, something at a distance using your smartphone, as opposed to using a proper telephoto lens, like let's say on an SLR. It is digital zoom or whatnot, but it's not that great to use that 100x. But it just means that anything you'd be zooming in at, let's say a nice tighter shot or whatnot, would come up much more crisper compared to everything else. The cool thing about this camera, and I don't think you can see that what's on my screen, is it's basically that it uses a 108 megapixel camera. In the real world, it might not seem like much, but for photographers, I think it just means that there's more data in the photo, that it supposedly gives you a bit more of detail in. I might be wrong, but it's just basically just a higher megapixel camera, and I'm just blabbering just before. That said, other videos have stated on the internet that 108 megapixels isn't really usable because it's a bit too tight of a shot. So just using a normal camera or whatnot, I think still takes great photos. But strangely enough, I didn't get the phone for the camera, because what I noticed when I was doing on the S9 was the fact that I was actually using it more to edit videos while I was on the go, such as like my GoPro. So yeah, so I was using it more for video production rather than my laptop or whatnot, especially while I was on holiday, especially when I use my GoPro Max, which I'm recording on right now. But yeah, you can see that also the screen does animate. Look how cool that looks. That's at WQHD+. Try again. See, WQHD+, animated wallpaper. That looks so good. I don't think you can properly see it, but it looks really, really good. Now, the weird thing was that it came with this clear case. It feels a little bit flimsy, but the thing is, I've been used to, I'm trying not to drop, I'm used to using this, this drop-proof case from Incipio. Basically just went to JB Hi-Fi and grabbed one of these for like around about $40, which has protected my old S9 quite a fair bit over the time I've had it. And you know, I think it's in better shape than most of my other phones which didn't have covers, and I can actually give this to my wife, who's currently using my old S7 Edge, sorry, S7 Plus, and she can start using the S9 Edge here. So the thing I've actually added on was one of these magnetic connectors. What that means is that you can use it pretty much like the old connectors that you would from Apple's, basically the MagSafe style connectors, which you can see is in the bottom there, which goes into the USB-C port pretty easily. Other than that, I'm looking forward to using this. Just remember, the plug that I got, even though it's for Australia, you can see a different plug, it actually uses a USB-C style connector. What that means is that you can't, with that USB thing, you need to have a USB cable. Fortunately, it comes with it to USB-C cable to actually charge your phone. But obviously, since I'm using the MagSafe style thing from my old phone, it's not much of a problem. But I think the next thing I'll probably get for this, I'll probably head out and replace this, the free cover that I got, with one of these drop-proof ones. It's a similar one that I bought for the old phone. But yeah, how's the screen like? It's really, really good. It's something that, you know, I wish I could easily share or whatnot, but it's really, really clear. And that's what you'd expect from a phone from 2020. Comparing it to the S9, it looks much more clear, but the S9 I've had no complaints about. But like I said, the reason why I'm upgrading is because it has that extra memory, which is the 512 meg. Sorry, meg? No, 512 gig. 512 gig of internal memory, which can handle the extra videos that I'll probably be pushing through, and also probably editing the video on as well. Also, the good thing is that if you have a USB-C style hub, which is connected to a keyboard and monitor, you can actually connect this and it'll act like as a pseudo desktop machine. So if you're traveling or whatnot and you just go to, let's say, an internet cafe which has those three things, you can actually use this as your own personal desktop machine. And from a hardware configuration, it is using a, what is it? A Qualcomm Snapdragon 865. Most people who's probably watching it don't care what that is, but it's probably one of the, it's the newest, the newer slash let's say, most powerful chipsets. I was going to say CPU, but no, actual chipsets for phones today, which is why it probably needs all this beefy stuff. And also, as I was mentioning before, it has 16 gig of RAM. Most phones, I think these days, are either 4 or 8. Samsung has doubled it, which means that it's just going to be a faster phone, and you can run more demanding applications or mobile applications for Android on this phone, and it shouldn't skip a beat. Other than that, yeah, there's not much to say. It's a really cool phone. Comparing it to my old previous phone, not that big. It still fits in my pocket. There we go. See, you can't even see it now because I tend to wear loose pants or shorts. If I were wearing tighter jeans, it would stick out, but my S9 stuck out as well. But yeah, it should be pretty cool. I'll give it a bit of a play around today. This is an update of the Samsung S20 Ultra. Now, I've been using it now for just under a week since I filmed the last set of clips, since the unboxing, and I have to say that using it as a normal phone, it's such a great size. Now, the thing is, if you've got small hands, I think I've got just above average sized hands, it's a little bit hard to get to the top, because it is nearly a 7-inch screen. So if you're trying to operate it with one hand, it is a little bit hard, but that's to be expected with a large phone. But other than that, it's been pretty great, especially when you're trying to unlock it or whatnot, because, like, for example, there's the unlock fingerprint scanner there, and, well, yeah, biometric scanner or whatnot, and it unlocks really well, much better than my old S9. Now, I'll probably put some photos of some stuff I've taken. I took some photos actually when I was taking Ace, my dog, for a walk the other day, and was actually getting some snaps or whatnot. So let me just try to find some of the examples, and I'll post it up here. Now, as a camera, my one advice is that even though it's got that space zoom and everything, I would not bother, because you will see here that when you go to, I'll show you the normal zoom. So the normal zoom here is not too bad, but as soon as you go into like 100%, it's very, very digital, and you can tell it's a very digital zoom, so it's not that great. But 50%, not too bad, but still pretty, you can't make out any details or whatnot. On another photo here, oh, and I'll show you another one. So that's how far I was. So, for a phone that can zoom that much, it wasn't too bad, especially when you zoom in. I think that photo there is around about 5 times the zoom. Video wise, I'll show you a quick clip of just Ace walking. Basically, you can see here that this is on slightly wide, and the footage that you get out of it is nice and smooth. The movement's nicely captured or whatnot. That's still pretty usable, and I believe this is 4K. Now here I've zoomed in and zooming in again to around about 5 times, and you can see there that it really captures a lot of detail that you wouldn't expect from this type that you would expect from this type of phone. So I think my advice in regards to zoom, in regards to digital photos and video, is that possibly just keep it within the normal zoom aspect, and you'll get a lot of usable footage or images from that. I'll also show you, so this is the one of the park near me. You can see here that I believe that's normal zoom. No, sorry, that's without zoom. And then here I've actually zoomed into the sign, and you can see that there's there's a lot of softening, and you know, it's not really that great. Similarly with the sign there, where I've zoomed in roughly around about, I think that's 50%. It's not that great. It's great if you want to show off to your friends, say, oh, hey, look, I got a telephoto zoom. But other than that, you know, it's really nothing too special. I've also taken some normal shots of Ace, just following him around, you know. There's me holding him or whatnot. There's him sniffing a tree, and also some birds. So those images there were taken with the 108 megapixel zoom, and you know, they haven't been too bad. But just with something that they're saying as space zoom 100 times, it's nothing really special. Now the phone. So I also started actually editing videos on this thing. And basically the first video I've edited is this review. So this is me now doing some additional footage already to an edited video from the review, and using the not the built-in editor. I'm using a third-party app. It's actually, you know, it actually edits the footage really, really well, and the footage that's coming that you're weird, huh? But you know, it's great and everything. It's great that it's powerful and everything. So, highly recommend the hardware that's actually gone into that. Now, getting to the software, I think one of the biggest niggling points here is that Samsung has absolutely filled it with bloatware. There's really great first-party software from Google, and Samsung, for some strange reason, is making some alternative stuff, and it's not that great unless you know you've been using Samsung and its alternatives or whatnot. I just feel like the Google stuff is a bit better and more user-friendly, especially if you're going to move from a Samsung platform to like an LG or a Google Pixel or whatnot. But things like, you know, you've got Google Pay, and then Samsung has done the alternative, which is Samsung Pay, or similarly with Google autofill for your like credit card details or whatnot, or passwords. Samsung has done like Samsung Pass. I found that a little bit intrusive. Even Bixby with the Google Assistant replacement, I've just had to go back and turn them all off, and this phone actually works better without all those Samsung add-ons and bloatware. So Samsung, can you please stop adding random bloatware things on these things, because they're not that great, and I'm finding more and more no use with those things or whatnot. Now, if Samsung had some sort of editing program similar to what I'm using at the moment, maybe, but the video editing and stuff like that isn't that great. So yeah, so overall, outside of the bloated software or whatnot, it's a great phone. Also, you know, don't bother using the zoom functions, but it does take really good photos or whatnot for a camera phone. So yeah, rock on. It's a very expensive phone. Is it worth it? Depends on how you use it, I think. Anyway, we've got a few more videos coming up, and I'll probably edit this on this thing, but I'll catch you soon. See ya.